This is a very heartfelt episode on you are enough today. What does that really mean? So I did a post yesterday. It was Sunday. Today is Monday. This is in real time. And I was posting about when is it enough for ourselves. There's this constant battle between our world and social media world and all this pressure and talking about just this last week, this whole post about $100,000, that's not that much money, and all this constant pressure of what is enough, what success looks like, what happiness looks like, what being a good mother looks like, being a great business owner, being a successful hairstylist. In all of our forms, we are enough. You are enough. And this episode is something that I share with love, and not just through my own struggles, but to help you see, maybe take a closer look at what enough means for you, what enough happiness and success looks personally for you, and that when that radiates from within, when we're enough for ourselves, everybody around us, within our families, to our business, to everything, it sprinkles that power of enough joy, of enough success, of enough to help others. It sprinkles on through. And I really hope you guys enjoyed this episode. But more than that, there's a little exercise on here. And if you can put that into action, you can see how much you have done, how worthy you are today of all your blessings, how you are enough today, how much knowledge, how much of an amazing human you are beyond business in life, and how much you have overcome, and how much more potential there is within you. With a whole new world of digital education and all these things coming out, one of the most beautiful lessons that I learned this past week that I'm sharing within this episode is that it all starts from within. And I know this may sound corny or like a pretty little caption, but it's not. If we are good internally, if we're happy, we feel enough inside to dare to try something, even if it doesn't go as planned and we put meanings into things, to know that, you know what, maybe it didn't go according to my plan, but I am enough because I was brave enough to try. And that maybe when others come and bring in their own self-doubts and try to project them onto us, that, hey, that wasn't pretty enough, or that wasn't X, Y, and Z enough, that we know within our hearts, and we have that strength within to know that it is enough, that we are enough in our highs and lows, whether we're healthy or not, or we don't do things exactly like everybody else, that we're allowed to shine bright within our own light. And just a little forewarning, just two little, Betty words in there. And you guys will hear a little sidekick, my daughter, in this episode. But rather than doing editing to the episode, and as I'm walking, recording this during my walk, the message is there, and I'd rather show it as is than try to edit and remove the impact from it. So here we go. Hope you enjoy. As always, thank you so much for tuning in. And if you're able to, I would love if you could please share a review on my podcast, how it has helped you or how it continues to motivate you. So much love. Let's get started. When is it enough? So there's this whole post going on right now, and everybody's reposting it about $100,000 is not enough. And my question is really with everything, when is it going to be enough for anybody? And why are we basing enoughness based on somebody else's beliefs or someone else's business or somebody else's whatever it is? When is it enough? And I saw this one comment, and it kind of it kind of inspired this podcast. And, she's like, well, it's relative. Depends where you live. She's like, I live, in another country, and $100,000 is a lot of money. That wouldn't just change my life. It would change my whole family's life. And then I saw another post where it depends where you live in the U.S. $100,000 would change my life here in the U.S., in the part where I live. And so that kind of all inspired this podcast today about enoughness. When do we work hard enough? When is it enough? When do we accomplish enough? When do we have enough clothes? When do we have enough of anything? And, as part of being in marketing and everything, they always say use you and your, like it's one of the highest converting words you can use in your copy or when you talk or do a post or whatever. And I really had to really step back right now with everything going on and really think about, it's not about you or yours, it's about you. And what I mean by that is that you get to decide what's enough, you get to decide what you want to do, you get to decide when it's enough for you. And only you have that answer. I was getting coached a week ago, and I was so frustrated because, as you guys know, I'm going through a pivot, and I wanted this coach to help me find my answer. But she wasn't really telling me like what to do or which direction. She just kept, answering my question with a question and answering my question with a question. And I was getting so frustrated until I finally clicked. It has to come from within me. And some of you may think, well, maybe she doesn't want to tell you because if something goes wrong, then you can go blame it back on her. Maybe. But I choose to believe different. I choose to believe that it always comes back to us, within us. What is enough and what is it's our lives. It's our business. When it's going to be enough is when it's something more than just monetary or client-based. It's about the impact we want to make in the world and what's important to us and what is our lives just being focused on enoughness. When are we going to accomplish enough goals? How much is it enough to have in your to-do list? How much is it enough to make? How much is it enough to own? How much is it enough to have kids? How much is it enough to feel like a good mother? When is it good enough to feel like a good wife? When is it good enough to feel good within ourselves? That constant battle within ourselves to love ourselves and find that enoughness within. And now we have this whole post going. Everybody's reposting in their own way that, $100,000 is not enough. But who are we to say that to other people? When is it going to be enough for anybody? And I think the real question now is really to ask ourselves, what does enough mean for us in our own lives? What does enough mean for us in our business? What is enough? Now, granted, you should have a profitable business, or else if you run out of a business, you're going to have to close and shut doors. And this goes into my second point. I worked very hard to get where I'm at today. And this beautiful opportunity came up, and blessing that I just got an email and notified I was, I'm going to be a part of something really special this in a couple of months coming up. And I felt very blessed and very honored to be a part of this. And my hand's not working, and it's been very interesting, and I'm getting here very personal to hear some people, oh, I feel sorry for you. Or like, oh, maybe you overworked it. Or maybe you didn't, you were using your proper ergonomics. And it has nothing to do with that, you guys, nothing. It's not carpal tunnel. It's nothing I didn't harm it. It's something, we're still trying to figure out with the doctors going back and forth what really caused all this. And as I'm sharing this, it has really all this, thoughts and, opinions of other people that have not been asked for, have really even made me start to wonder, am I enough? My body's not the same. I'm not the same little size 6 I was. And my body looks different. I have little rolls here, little rolls in my face. My arms are a little bigger. Nothing fits the same like it used to. It's not because I'm not active or, the way I'm eating. It just has to do a lot with my health going on right now. And I started to think, now I'm doubting myself about my enoughness based on other people. And I have done more than enough for myself. And we did this exercise with one of my coaches. And we had to go through a whole timeline, which I want to welcome you to. Go back to the first job you've ever had. All the jobs that you've had from today into the first job you got. I started working when I was 15. So if you're 15 to today's date, write down on a piece of paper all the jobs you can remember that you've had. Write them all down on a piece of paper. Now, after that, write down all the accomplishments that you've made from you were 15 to now. What are things that you're so proud of? Things that you have accomplished from those years until now. And in that same piece of paper, write all the obstacles that you've had to overcome in your own life, in your own journey. Whether it's personal or business, doesn't matter. It can be a mix of both. And write it all down on that piece of paper. And after you do this exercise and prompting, I want to ask you something, which is not the question she asked us in our training, but is something that I want to ask you. Have you done enough for yourself? When is it enough? When is it good enough? I'm recording this podcast. You guys can hear my baby in the background. She's a crybaby. She's been going through a terrible twos. And if you don't have kids, they pretty much cry and nag over everything. They think they're independent and nothing can harm them, which is quite beautiful and quite frightening to see, to be honest, as a mother. And I just wanted to share this heartfelt podcast episode from the bottom of my heart to say that you are enough. And as our society continues to require more of this, enoughness BS, when are we going to be happy enough is really my question. When is it good enough for anybody? And why are we basing our enoughness? Why are we basing our success? Why are we basing our happiness based on other people? Because sure, your Instagram feed may look amazing and beautiful, but you don't know what's going on behind the scenes. And as I go, this last 2 minutes to this podcast, every Friday I go live on my IGTV. And I'm always sharing, fun things because I love to, help and share. But I also like to, share the deep things because it's part of my personality. It's part of the human I am. There's two sides, that are a part of me. And it's the deep thinker, anxious woman. And there's the fun side of me too, bubbly, that comes along with her. It's just part of who I am. It's part of the human I am. And that's enough for me. It may not be enough for people. People may not understand that, you should keep going until your hand really can't bend at all. Or, you should well, maybe you did this or you didn't do enough or this and that. I really don't give a shit. And neither should you. You should be doing things for yourself. It should be enough for you. It should be enough happiness in your life for you, not for other people's. Because it's so true. And I heard this quote this week that we come to this world alone and we die alone. And we have family and friends and all these beautiful things around us, but there has to be enough for within ourselves for ourselves. And as a mother, myself, of 3 kids, that doesn't, sound or go very well with a lot of women around me because I'm too independent and some would consider me too selfish because I also focus and make sure that I am enough because I feel that I am enough for myself and I am happier for myself. That enoughness will sprinkle into my kids to have a happier mom, to be a happier woman around them and not be so stressed out. Because I've been there. Last year was one of the hardest lessons I've had to learn that while I was focusing and staying up late and trying to finish this program because I wanted to go through all the things, I missed all of it. I missed some very important information that would have saved me a whole year of headache if I would just pay attention. But I just wanted to get it done because that's what enough people do. They complete courses in full and, implement some things. But I missed the main pieces of it because I was trying to prove that I was enough, that it was good. Because even though I was working from home, I was doing what was enough. I was working hard. And it just really harmed me. It really stressed me out. A lot of things not so good came from it. And so as you go on to social, as you go on with your day, as you go on with your life, just make sure that you're doing enough for yourself, that you're feeling happy enough, that you're accomplishing things because it makes you feel enough. You're not doing it for society, or if you're not hitting those $100,000, if you're not hitting those $1 million, if you're not hitting being booked out solid, you don't know what to do, that you feel like you're not enough, like you feel like you're not worthy, because it's not true, you guys. We're worthy in all our forms, and all the things that we go through are stepping stones into the next step for ourselves, if we allow them to. And part of being enough is knowing that we deserve rest, we deserve happiness, we deserve to just be in the moment, to just take a day to not do anything, and that's good. Or spend time with the people we love, and that's good. And that makes us still worthy of our blessings and still enough of everything beautiful that comes into our lives. And that's today's episode. And I want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for all you guys who tune in, for your love and support, and for listening to this podcast with the background noise of a remodel downstairs, trying to finish that up, and my little daughter, toddler, screaming and doing her things. Until next week, all my love.